Okay, what I have here now is basically a very standard Excel spreadsheet workbook, and I want to insert a VBA shell code into this workbook itself. Now, firstly, you can't just place in a VBA, alright, because by default, your Excel spreadsheet will actually block it. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you actually save it as a macro enabled workbook. Alright, which I'm just going to throw it onto a desktop, so I'll just leave it as book 1 and click save. Alright, and of course let me just minimize this. You will see this is the workbook itself. Alright, so let's go back in. Alright, now how do I actually call up to edit my VBA? You use the alternate F8, right, which is where you can actually create, delete your macro. Alright, and VBA will replace macros eventually, okay, in my opinion. And let's just call this shell 1. Alright, so once you create a macro name, you can actually create it. Of course, you can create in all the workbook, or just this particular workbook itself. Alright, so this is up to you basically. So for me, maybe I will just create it just for this particular workbook, and I will just do a create, and you will have your standard Visual Basic application. Alright, so you have your VBA over here. So let me just quickly do this. Alright, so I have a PID. I need to create a PID first, and to run any shell code, you use the shell function. You need to enclose your command that you want to run in the shell in double quotations. Okay, so in this case, the CALC is actually to launch the calculator. I'm just using it as an example. Okay, so I will just save this, and I will close this. Okay, so if you want to run this, do the same, alternate F8. Alright, so now you should be able to see the code that you want to run. The macro name in this case is actually a VBA, and you can actually just click the run button, and your shell code actually work, because now the VBA actually launches the calculator. Now try to replace the shell code command with other things, right? Like for instance, notepad, for instance. Okay, so this is just to let you have a chance to experiment that you can actually use the shell function to run other applications or other commands that you deem necessary directly from your Microsoft offices.